What's going on, everybody? This is a beautiful Thursday night, and I'm here with Jordan Schieck, right? Schieck?
Schieck.
Schieck. Jordan Schieck, who's actually a BC boy as well. He's up in Kelowna, and it was pretty cool. We got to meet face to face back in, what was it? I guess August, late July, August. Which is super cool because I mean we do this business, we meet people from all around the world, but of course when there's people inside of our lower mainland here, which is about a 3-hour drive, it's pretty cool to meet up with everyone. So we figured why not do an interview. I'm a sales guy and I came from trades, and I know Jordan's also in trades as well. So we figured why not talk about some of the objections people have, talk about the business, the profitability, all that sort of good stuff. So we have a little bit of a different style setup. I'm going to interview Jordan for the first little bit. Then he's going to ask me some questions. Probably take us about a half hour. And hopefully we can give you guys some information on how this whole thing goes down. So ready to go?
I'm ready. Ready
right
whenever
on.
you are.
Okay, so why don't we start with who you are, what you do, and why you got into Enagic.
Well, like you said, I'm Jordan. I have a Red Seal ticket in carpentry, which I know is a Canadian thing. I've had people ask from America, "What's a Red Seal?" It's our way of certifying across country that you're a journeyman carpenter. You've done all the schooling and the hours. You're a carpenter, and I've been doing that since I've been out of high school, and got to a point where with having a wife, having a child, living in a house, it's like get to that point where like, okay, I'm going to work every day and my child is spending time with whoever's babysitting and I'm at work. It's like there's got to be a way. And and as time goes on, you get older and with a kid and that added expense of having a kid, you're like, okay, well, I'll tick that box. I won't be able to live that dream. I'll tick that box. I won't be able to do this. I tick that box. I won't be able to travel there. I'm like, is that the way life's supposed to be? And, then sure enough, Kevin showed up. So
yeah,
that's how I began. That's why I'm here.
Pretty wild, man. And like, I've been to your place. You got a nice house and you live out in like a beautiful part of the country. And it's like, I don't have kids. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have kids that are going to watch this, and maybe some people that don't. But like, I have 2 dogs. And when I was in the oil field for a very brief point, I am not an oil field guy. I just went there briefly, chasing. Basically, I want to make 100 grand a year because like I'm 35 and you are how old?
30.
Yeah, you're 30. So we kind of grew up in like the same, time period where 100 grand a year back in the day was like, holy shit, you make 100 grand a year. Like you must be balling out. And like, back in the 90s, maybe. But I had this thing, like, again, we're programmed from a very young age of like what we think success is. And some of us don't grow up with any success in our lives, and, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends, family members. So we think that we're not good enough or we don't deserve success. And there's some people that have had people in their lives who've had success. And one of the people that was really successful in my life was my uncle. He was part owner in an insurance company in Toronto, and he was balling. And I remember he was making a lot of money. And I remember looking up to him going, damn, like one day I want to be like that. But like you said, you were in carpentry right out of high school, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like I didn't do anything. I just went from job to job to job to job to job to job, trying to find what's going to pay me the most. I didn't have time for school. I wasn't right. Nah, I don't need to do that. There's lots of time left. And then 30 years old comes knocking on the door. And that's when things start to get real. When you start to realize like, oh shit, man, like if I don't do something major, I'm screwed. And I mean, you make good money. You're a journeyman, right? Like you've been doing what, 12 years?
Yeah, pretty much on the money. Yeah, 12 years.
12 years. So I mean, you're pretty much almost pretty topped out at your income at that point, I would assume.
Yeah, unless you take on the big responsibility of being a supervisor.
Right. And then you just kiss your weekends goodbye, and you're first one there and last one that leaves. And put up with all the bullshit and all that sort of stuff. And then again, you got to start weighing it out. You know, a lot of people, me included, back when I was 29 years old, all I cared about is I need to make 100 grand a year. Right?
Yeah.
Like 100 grand. And then you get there and you get taxed 40% and you're like, this is ridiculous. And like, I miss my dogs, man. So like, how old's your little one?
She is just over a year and a half.
Yeah. So starting to like create a personality and, you know, sounds and moving around and starting to get up on feet and stuff like that. And
Oh
I'm
yeah, she's
sure it's,
running around like crazy, and yeah, quite the personality. And it's just like, apparently every time she comes home, all she says in the vehicle ride is dad, 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 dad. And it's just like, I'm not there all day. She wants to see me, and it's like, I want to be home for her.
yeah, it's brutal, man. I mean, again, I don't have kids, but I can sense it. Like I can feel your energy. You know what I mean? Like it's heavy. It's heavy. And like, I remember as a kid, there was times when like, and I remember this vividly, and because I think my mom was like giving me shit because like I pulled out a lawn chair and I brought my dinner out front and sat in the lawn chair on the driveway waiting for my dad to come home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 100%. My dad was fireman, and so we lived in Maple Ridge. He was an hour outside of Vancouver, and like if you're listening and you've never been to Vancouver, this is how it works. You have ocean here, you have a border here, and you have mountains here, and everything's just built out. So you got west, and everything's just built out east. And the problem is like, you know, the bigger your family got, usually the further out you move because most people have regular jobs and you can't make any more money at your job. Right? Like it's either get a new job, make more hours, or move to get a bigger house. So yeah, I remember like sitting outside and my mom going, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, go back inside. Like, it looks weird just sitting out front of the driveway, eating your dinner, waiting for your dad to come home. But I can only imagine, man. And like, I have a niece and a nephew, and you know, when she gets to like 2, 3 years old, she starts talking and, Dad, don't go. Like, fuck. I can only imagine, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not easy. I leave in the morning. Every morning I leave before she wakes up. And it's just like it's like I don't even get to say good morning or say, I gotta go. Like it's just only like, bye, I'm gone. Like that's it.
Yeah, she
She
wakes
wakes
up
up
and
and
you're
it's
just
just mom.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wake up, you're just not there. Like in her like growing up in that childhood. Again, like that's stuff where I mean, I don't like I read a lot of psychology books. I don't know the psychology of a 1.5-year-old, but I know when you hit like 3, 4, 5 years old, you start to remember that stuff. Right. And I mean, you took action last year. You decided to go outside your comfort zone. Like literally 12 years of working with wood, nails, hammers, saws, and now you're working with laptops and Facebook ads and marketing systems and teams and all that sort of stuff. So how has the transition been for you over these last 6 months?
It's been a learning curve, but it's not, it's not difficult to an extent. Like it's not, or difficult's the wrong word, but it's not impossible. Like you can learn anything, and it's not like the tools aren't here either. Like it's and step by step. So it's been fairly, I would say, you know, probably not easy is not the right word, but like, it's you just follow the steps, you do the right thing, and then you just learn. And it's like you're just learning a new skill. If you're interested enough, you'll find a way to figure it out. Like it's I mean, and I actually enjoy it because it's just another thing that you like, another notch under the belt. Like, okay, well, I can do this too. Like,
Yeah. What I always tell people is I say it's simple, but it's not easy. It's like working out. It's simple. You know what to do. Go lift weights, eat healthy food, drink lots of water, get sleep. Don't stuff fucking donuts down your throat. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah,
simple, but it ain't easy because we're impulsive creatures and we live in this instant satisfactory sort of world where, we want it now and we don't want to wait. And like, the fear of missing out with Bitcoin and all this other stuff going on. And people are get like, it's like they expect things so quickly. But when you think about it, Like, imagine if you would have started in this business 12 years ago.
Oh, I know. I'm not. That is like that. Literally, anytime I tell someone, I'm like, the one thing that like my biggest regret is like, I wish I could have started this sooner. Like, it's you literally. That's the only thing is like, and back to the biggest hurdle was the beginning because you're like this limiting belief of like, oh, I can't do that. I can't be a salesman. And then as soon as you get in, you're like, oh, well, I can do that. I can do like I can learn this. I can learn this. I can, you know, I can figure this out. And then it's trial and error. Like it's not rocket science, that's for sure. It's people might say it is like, oh, I can't do that. It's impossible. It's like, no, you just don't want to believe you can make a change. Like it's outside the comfort zone, but it's just a learnable skill.
Yeah. I tell people, it's like, if you're grateful for the opportunity, then you learn a lot quicker. But if you have this pessimistic mindset of like, oh, what if it doesn't work? And what if I spend my money and I can't afford that? And what if someone looks at me? And what if I get judged? And what are my parents going to say? And what if my boss finds out? You're like, dude, like this, don't fuck with entrepreneurship then. Be a worker. Go do your job then. Then just shut up about it. Don't complain about the government. Don't complain about your taxes. Don't complain about your house. Don't complain about, the food on the table. Don't complain about the Christmas presents. Don't complain about your vacations. Don't fucking complain if you're not willing to put in the work. Plain and simple. Because you have a choice. And you're either choosing to do what you do every day. Like every day you get up and you go to work. And again, most people, you included, get started in this business. And it's like, how much work do I actually have to do to get results? And so you put your toe in, and then you put a little bit more in, and then you put a little bit more in, and then I eventually go, hey, bro, get the fuck in the pool, right? Because that's what you got to do. You got to go all in. But like every day you wake up, it's a decision to go to your job. We agree on that.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Because you don't need a job. You need an income.
Exactly.
You need an income. Because if you have an income, you don't need a job. But like, where do I get an income if I don't have a job? Start a business. Go ask your boss. Be like, hey, boss. Hey, owner of the company. Why are you never on site? Why are you always at your lake house? Why are you always skiing in Aspen? Why are you always having fun? Well, I decided to start a business so I could have an income and free up my time. And this is like the biggest thing with people is like, I'm 35 years old and I'm no spring chicken anymore, which is crazy because I always consider myself young. I'm young. Everyone I grew up with was always older. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, dude, there's no rewind button.
No.
There's no go back in time. There's no Back to the Future fucking DeLorean. It ain't there, bro. Time ticks by and every second gone is second lost. Like we were talking about this. We're like, should we do this? Oh, maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Like, no, fuck it. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, totally.
Take action, do it, and just like, you never know. There might be someone that watches and goes, oh my God, it's exactly what I needed to hear. Because I know when I was getting into this, I was my biggest skeptic, man. I knew about this business for 7 years. 7 years. I'm like, this is a pyramid scheme. It's a scam. No one's ever gonna buy this. This is a joke. You guys are losers. Like literally, that's what I said to my buddies that were doing this. I'm like, you guys are crazy. This is never gonna happen. 7 years later, oil patch crashes. All this bullshit happens in 2015, and it was like either go back to my normal job or start a business. I'm like, well, I know what happens there. Like, do you go back to an ex-girlfriend? You know how funny it is when you see people break up? You're like, oh, fuck this, I'm free, woo! And then, like, after summer, they're back together. Like, dude, like, you know what you're getting, and it didn't work. Why you go, oh, no, it's different this time? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Because if you haven't changed as a person, you're the same fucking dude you were when you left. Right? And it's like, it's crazy. So, anyways, as far as the business goes, the personal development, the growth, what do you think's been your biggest improvement over the last 6 months?
I would probably just say like, learning that like to let go. Like the biggest thing is learning like, there's that kind of what people think meditation is. And that what it really is like you just literally sit there and don't think about anything, and you just let all that stuff free. And then that day, like if you do it in the morning, you feel a million times better. And just to be able to let go of all the, like, having the running thoughts all the time, and you just give yourself that, basically a recharge is key. It's huge. And it's probably been and learning about that and like personal development is just, it was probably one of my biggest things.
Yeah, there's two major things I always bring up, and this is for guys. If you're a guy between the age of 25 and 40, you don't stretch and you don't meditate. And if you say you do, I'm proud of you, but most likely you're lying because no one stretches and no one meditates, right? And it's crazy. And it was the same thing with myself. I've always been like a bodybuilder, weightlifting type of guy. And I never stretched and never meditated. I thought it was like some yogi woo-woo fucking hippie shit, right? And they all of a sudden, all right, I'm gonna start stretching. Start stretching out your back, stretching out your hamstrings, stretch out your neck, your arms, everything, man. Like you stretch in the morning, you stretch at night, and you do a little meditation. And you don't need to sit there like, Gandhi for fucking an hour, 15, 20 minutes, man. Not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Anything is gonna be better, but just deep breaths, let the tension go, let your cork float, man. Just fucking just be a leaf in the ocean. Just
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, so I mean, how have you seen a noticeable difference in your patience?
Yes, huge.
That was me. Yeah. Yeah, I was a psycho, especially behind the wheel, man. If you fucking going slow in front of me, like, oh, you're never gonna hear the end of it.
Yeah, I'm still working on that one. My patience everywhere else at work, people probably think I'm insane because I'm just smiling even if I get the worst task. I'm just like, yeah, well,
It's all
uh,
good, man.
yeah, exactly.
Side will be here tomorrow. It's all good. Like, don't worry about it. Ain't our fucking company. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the attitude people have. It ain't my company. Why would you put 100% effort into someone else's company? And this is one of the big things that I think a lot of people don't understand is to go, I don't think I can do that. Oh, that's too hard for me. And it's like, well, based on what? Based on all of the other jobs you had, which were not your job or not your company, you didn't put 100%. You don't even know what the fuck your 100% is. People that play sports, they know what 100% is. People that work out religiously, they know what 100% is. Because you go in and you're doing it for your personal thing. You're doing it to challenge yourself. You don't challenge yourself at work. Oh, yeah, try to do my best job. Yeah, but if the whole thing flipped over, as long as you're still making money and like your bank account's good, you don't give a shit. You're like, great, don't have to go to work today. Awesome. Get to chill out and sit on the couch and do whatever, right? So yeah, meditation, stretching, visualization, gratitude, all that sort of good stuff. That's a whole part of the process. And what are your goals for the next, I guess, 10 months? Like what is it that you want to accomplish, maybe physically, financially, spiritually, your relationships, that sort of stuff?
Financially would be probably the easiest one to answer. Is out of the business, I would like to be able to minimally supplement my wife's income, because if no one knows and you're not paying attention, she's pregnant and she's due at the end of June. And my number one goal is that she doesn't have to go back to work when her mat leave's over.
And
So
that's what, 3 months, 4 months?
so June is when she'll be due, and then she has a year of mat leave.
A year? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's 12 months. Or you can opt for 18 months, but it's the same lump sum of 12 months, just drawn out for 6 months longer.
Dude, a year? You can
Yeah,
crush it out in a year.
that's my biggest goal, is just go beyond my comfort zone, like in the Belfour. Oh, reach as high as you can. Okay, now reach higher. Oh yeah. Okay, well I just told you to reach as high as you can. Just like that extra, like outside, do what it takes.
Yeah.
Is
I feel you there, man. I feel you there. And it's like, I remember when I got out of the oil field, it's like I knew what happened. I quit my job at Harley. I went to the oil field. I got my old job back, and I was like, it was almost like I was getting chased by a lion. I was like, I need to get out of here as fast as I can. It's like, I almost felt like I felt I don't want to say like a loser, because I didn't feel like a loser because I knew what I was doing and I had goals and I had a purpose and I was doing this business, but I felt like I lost the year. I was like, I spent like 20 fucking $1,000 to get all this stuff to go to the oil field, go from job to job to job to job, all within 6 months. Then the whole, industry collapsed. Now I'm back where I started. I was like, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, not only do I need to work to get out of this job, I need to work to make up that year I just pissed away.
Yeah.
And that's like, if you're at that point, man, this is when things go crazy. Because again, you just go for broke. There's nothing to lose. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people don't want to get into this business because they think they have something to lose, and it's just their ego. Well, I don't want to look like a someone who doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, so you rather eke your way through life living paycheck to paycheck and pretend that you're fucking balling? Like, really? That's your plan? Like, you think you don't think people know that you're like a middle class, average 50 to 80,000 K worker with single family home and whatever? Like, bro, unless you're, some real estate investor or Bitcoin expert or Forex trader or Amazon guru or something, like, no, man, you are who you are. If anything, it shows character of being like, listen, I'm willing to bear this cross and to sacrifice all this shit in order to get to the higher ground. And people that watch your struggle, that's their inspiration. That's when people go, dude, like, I've been watching you for the last 3 months, and like, you're doing your goal lives every day and you're posting all the time and you're doing interviews and you're reading and meditating and you're doing all this sort of stuff. Like how? Like, what's going on? People don't give a shit about the money. You make money posts. Oh, I made 50 grand this month. People are like, oh, wow, 50 grand. Oh man, he must be doing something that I can never do that. It's not the money. It's the growth. People seeing like, you're reading books? Wow. Because most people don't read. It's like, when was the last book you read? It's like, oh, high school. Like, bro.
Yeah. that was me. But yeah, actually, that's another thing is, I've probably read, in the past year, I've read more books than I have since 2019 to when I graduated high school in 08. Like,
yeah, and I bet you it's probably from your whole life. Because I know that in my first year, I read every book I could get my hands on. And before that, like, do you remember Goosebumps?
Yep.
Yeah. I had Goosebumps. I read a shit ton of Goosebumps back in the day. What were those fairs called? The Scholastic?
Yeah, Scholastic Book Fair. Yeah.
Those are fucking dope. You get the Lambo poster, yeah. Right? And you get like a couple Goosebumps books and some stickers and shit. Fuck, man, good old days. We're really dating ourselves here, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just, like, it's a whole process. And the cool thing is it's a simple recipe. You do exactly what I've done, and everyone else that comes after you is going to do the exact same process. You know what I mean? Like, we all read this book here, for instance, called Enagic. It's all about gratitude. Simple. That one book changes people's lives. But if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know, you think it's hard. Oh, it's going to be so hard. No, just read this book. Oh, really? Oh, read the book. Wow, this is great. What's next? Next step. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And you just keep going and going and going. So, okay, so you want to replace your wife's income. What else do you want to do? What are, like, give me something like something good. I mean, not that it's not good, but like, give me something that's like, what do you want to do personally? Like, what do you want to do for fun? You want to buy a boat? You want a helicopter? What do you want to do?
My number one hobby or joy or whatever is cars. So, I mean, it'd be probably a fleet. Like, I don't even, if you say pick one, I don't think I could. It would be like, well, it depends on what for. Would it be for a track? Would it be for a drag strip? Would it be for daily driving? Would it be like, there's a different car for every. So it's like.
That's true. That's very true. Actually, now that you bring it up, it's like, yeah, it's like I want an old 59 Corvette, but I also want a 63 split window. But I also like one of the last year's ZR1s, like the 755 horsepower ZR1. But I also want a C8.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I need 4 Corvettes even just to fill my Corvette cup, and we haven't even gone on to all that other shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that, and then go on vacations. Like take the biggest thing I would love to do is, again, if people don't know, I had my health problem with my ulcerative colitis, which ruined my honeymoon. We had to cut it short, come home, I'm in the hospital. So I owe her a honeymoon, and I would like to take her somewhere nice. So that would be another big, it would be travel and a honeymoon redo, because I had to cut it short, and because of me. We didn't get to enjoy it. Tried going out for meals. I just felt like garbage. Couldn't walk around, couldn't do anything yeah, because it sucked for me.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story. That's so that like yeah, explain a little bit more about the issues and how the business helped.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, it's a health and wellness product. So, and it's the water that directly translated from Kangen is return to wellness, or return to origin, sorry. And yeah, even just drinking that, like, I mean, I've been following a diet too, but diet was doing okay. The water was just that extra step of like, I feel like a normal person now.
Yeah. And what was the condition?
It's called ulcerative colitis, which is like the one step below Crohn's.
Yeah.
And and I was medication after medication after medication. It's like, oh, this one's not working. Well, let's put you on something else. Oh, this one's not working. Well, let's combine this one with this one. I'm like I don't want to be on medication now. I'm at the point where I have to go once every 6 weeks and get an IV, sit in this room for an hour as this IV bag drains in, and it's like, and with this water and the diet, like there's a lot of people that say that like they medication free, nothing, and like if nothing works, and like excluding the water, whatever, if they can't find the right medication, you get to the point where they cut out your colon and you have this poop bag
Yeah. Colostomy
strapped to
bag.
it, and you're just like, yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was
is
actually
that,
we had another guy on the team and he called me from the doctor's office again. Oh, it's too expensive. It's a scam. And by the way, it's called Kangen water by Enagic. This is the best thing in the world. It just happens to match my shirt as well. But a friend of mine called me from the doctor's office and he's like, hey man, so those water machines, they help with diverticulitis. What the fuck's diverticulitis? So I'm like, Google diverticulitis, and I get onto YouTube and I just type in Kangen water diverticulitis. And it comes up like testimonial, like 5,000 pages of like testimonials. It's like, yeah, man, like check this out. Send him a couple links. He's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna come over tonight and I'd like to try it out. So yeah, come on over. So he came on over. I gave him a few gallons. Next morning, he comes back. He's like, dude, we drank all of this last night. I'm like, get real. You drank 3 gallons of water last night. He's like, myself, his girlfriend, and he has 3 daughters. He's like, yeah, we smashed them all and gave it to the dogs and everything. We're out. And I feel great. So he filled up again. The next day, he called me, goes, I need to buy one of those machines. He's like, everything is perfect, because when he called me from the doctor's office, he said his shits were pencil thin and black. And his entire digestion, like his colon was swollen up with like these little pockets or whatever. And the doctor said the same thing. We're going to have to cut 6 inches of your colon and give you a colostomy bag. And the guy's like 31 years old, good looking guy. I sold him a Harley. That's where I met him. And like, I was like, what? Seriously? He's like, dude, fuck that. Like, not happening, right? And so he bought a machine. He loved it. And within a week, his mom, dad, and sister all bought machines from Toronto, sight unseen. Just like, yep, if GA said that they work, then I'm in. Send them out. I was like, holy shit. Like, because, some people, oh, it's so much money. And then people are just buying it like this. And it all comes down to like, what's your priority? What's your priority? Do you rather have more money in your bank account, or you'd rather be healthy? If you have no money, then people say, well, I'd rather have the money because, I got to put food on the table. It's like, yeah, I get that. But if you have a choice and you have the money and you have credit, you know, because that's what credit's for, is buying stuff with other people's money and financing it out. Buy the thing, invest in your future, save money on your taxes, do the things you need to do to get yourself ahead and feel good. Because if you feel good, you're going to perform better. If you perform better, you're going to have a better life. Plain and simple, right?
100%.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So other than that, is there anything that you wanted to ask me? Anything off the top of your head that you think someone would have to, or would like to know?
Yeah, well, like you said, back to when you said you watched for 7 years. What was your tipping point? What was your I know the story, so but what would you explain like when you saw Balaj?
Well, the tipping points. So to kind of like take a long story and smash into a small story, I was up in the oil field, and a friend of mine, his name was Pete, and he was one of the original guys back when I was 21. We all, you know, all my best friends, we all sat in a room. Blah showed us this video on Enagic, and I was like, this is great. And then it showed the price and what you had to do, and I was like, fuck that, this is a ripoff, right? Just being an asshole, right? Non-educated, jumping to conclusions, judging a book by its cover, just being a complete noob about it. So he had a machine, and this is like, you know, fast forward 7 years later, and I'm in the oil field, and he's like, bro, you got to come back. Because like everyone knew I hated it. Like people say they hate their jobs. They go, bro, like, oh, I can't wait to get my job. I hate my job. I was like, yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, we'll start a business and get out of here. Oh, I can't do that. Oh. It's like, you don't fucking hate your job. You don't hate your job. I hated my job. I didn't want to do it. I would eat fucking dirt all day instead of going to that job in the oil field, because the people were just miserable. Everyone bitched and complained. Fucking minus 40 degrees out, dusty everywhere because it's so frozen. It just sucked, man. 12, 14-hour days, shit food, and just dirty, grimy people that just, oil field was life. Oil's life, bro. Rolling coal. I'm like, fucking, like, get real, man. Like, you're here for money, like I'm here for money, right? But yeah, so like I hated it. I wanted to come back. I was fucking miserable. And a friend of mine, Pete, sent me like all this stuff on the water. Like, man, you got to come back. Like, check out this water. It's super good for you. Like, you feel awesome. You know, you crush this business. Come home and do this business. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. The next morning, I got up, did my breakfast. There's a guy sitting across from me missing his two front teeth, these big ones here. And I was like, hey man, if you don't mind me asking, like, what do you make? And he's like, 32.50. And I was making 28.50. It's like, okay, cool. And how long you been here? He said 33 years. I was just like, I'm 29 at the time. I'm like, yo, like I can't be this guy. If like being this guy is being a failure. And I, you know, I mean, sure, he's a nice guy and whatever. He was a dozer operator, smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and missing his 2 fucking front teeth and smelled like an ashtray. Pretty much, I'm like, this is the epitome of being a loser and a failure. And I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And so I went to the site that day, and I swear this is a true story. So if you ever been in the oil field or where it's like freaking cold out, you have like your long johns, you have your boxers, you have your long johns, you have 2 pairs of socks at least. You have your work pants, then you got your beater, your t-shirt, your or your thermal shirt, then you got your jacket, you got your hood on, then you got your fucking coveralls over top of all your shit, right? So I'm all geared up. We get to site 7 in the morning, middle of fucking January, pitch blackout, way up northern Alberta. So it was black till like, 10. I'm like, I gotta take a shit. Like, this fucking sucks. Because like every morning you make sure you get to the bathroom, right? And sometimes you have a Jack and Jill where you got to share one, and like some dude goes in there and fucking nukes the bathroom before you get in there, and you're like this is how I start my fucking morning. You know what I mean? Like this sucks. So like maybe that's what happened, because I remember it did happen a couple of times. And like, and as another thing, like I remember going to the bathroom and like I didn't think like, oh, I should bring up slippers. I don't think like I'm going to work. I bring my slippers, right? But the fucking ground was so cold, like putting your bare feet on the ground or even through socks. So we get to site. It's like 6:45. right before the safety meeting, I'm like, I gotta go. So I get into the portable, and it's like this giant portable. There's fucking toilets in there, and it's fucking freezing. So I'm like, dude, this sucks. I'm like, I gotta sit on this freezing cold fucking toilet in this stinky thing. And so I gear down. I'm holding my phone, and all of a sudden it's like lights go out. Like the whole fucking lights in the thing. And now I'm sitting there with like 3 layers, my long johns, my coveralls, my work pants, my long johns, my boxers. I got my jacket on the thing. I got my, I'm like geared. I'm just fucking miserable, right? Sitting in the dark in -40 with my cell phone light, having to wipe my ass. And I was like, I am way too smart. I am too good of a person. I'm too fucking smart to do this shit. And that's what pulled the pin on me, to be completely honest. And that's the actual true story of like, I remember I walked into my my boss is like, because he's sitting inside doing paperwork or whatever the fuck he was doing. I'm like, yo, dude, like, I gotta be honest with you, this is not my gig. I can't do this fucking bullshit. And he looked at me, he goes, bro, I'm surprised you lasted this long, man. Like, I knew as soon as you walked in, like, you're not the type of dude to be here. And it's all good. Yeah. It's like, all good. I'll get you right home. He was really cool about it. And I was like, oh, like this giant weight was just off my shoulders. And then everything was just went from negative to optimistic. Like, what's going to happen? Like, who am I going to meet? Like everything was just like potential. Where in the oil field, you grab your phone, you go, okay, you have 28.50 times 12 hours times my overtime times 21 days times 12 times 10. This is what I make in 10 years. You're like, 1.2 million. You're like, that's not a lot for 10 years. No helicopter, no fucking beach house, no traveling the world, no Rolex, no disc boot. That's what I did. A lot of people go to the oil field, they go, 10 grand a month? Holy shit, I get to buy a new dirt bike. Brap. And then there's me going like, that's it? That's all I get? For all of my time and effort? This is all I get? Like, I can't go home. I'm not eating with my family. I don't see my dogs. Like, no, man, you can't buy me for that amount of money. And then I saw my buddies that were doing this business, making $20,000, $30,000 a month, fucking jumping on stage at events, doing stuff, learning, going to seminars, masterminding, high level people, having goals, happy, always happy. And I was fucking miserable the whole time. And I just decided, I'm like, if I want the life that I want, I have to change. I can't keep doing this runaround. And that was it, man. And I did what everyone else did. I had to fucking bite the bullet, pull the chute, whatever your analogy is. And I had to go for it. And I ended up making $10,390 in my very first 6 weeks. I pretty much made patch money as a brand new patch guy in a brand new business with zero experience because I had the urgency. And that's what this business comes down to, is urgency. Just like you were talking about with your wife, it's urgency. What has to happen and when does it have to happen? And once you figure those two things out, it's just tenacity, man. It's not even skill level, right? It's just how much drive do you have? Fuck, it's 8:30 p.m. right now, and we're sitting here doing this. I can be sitting on the couch chilling.
Yeah. Today was one of those days where I'm like, I could have just come home, sat on the couch, made myself a drink, but you know what I did instead? I got my supplement together, slammed it, and I went and did a workout with whatever muscles didn't hurt from doing the 3 days before this, because I was like, I could sit there on the couch and I'm sure, yeah, if I had a drink, I would feel good for a couple hours. And then in the morning, I'd be like, oh, why did I do that?
Not even, man. I feel guilty.
Yeah, and that too.
I have something to do.
Yeah, you got that guilt lingering over too. And you're like, I could have been productive today, and instead you're doing nothing. And like you said, there's no rewind. There's no going back.
Yeah, it's just a day lost. You're like, okay, so I'm gonna drink this booze, which is gonna make me fat. It's gonna make me old. It's gonna fucking kill my heart. It's gonna kill my liver. I'm not gonna exercise. I'm gonna get a shit sleep. I'm gonna feel like crap tomorrow, and it's gonna cost me money. Like, why are you doing this? Oh, bro, I had a tough day. Pick up a book, learn something, get your body moving, burn something, do something that's going to make your life better. So that way, when you lay your head down and now you go, well, I had a shit day, but look at all this other stuff I accomplished. But people get stuck in this negative feedback loop of like, oh, it's just another day. It's like, no, man, it's your life. It's not just another day. It's your fucking life, bro. Like, you can't just piss your days away like that. And it comes down to just people don't have any purpose. Going to a job and moving dirt around the fucking oil field is not a purposeful life. There's no meaning to that. Anybody with the same skill set could have came in, replaced me in a second. And that was the other reason why I left. Every single day, a new truckload of green hard hats would come in. And I was like, no, like I ain't fighting tooth and nail to keep this shit job that I don't even want. Like, not happening. But it took me till 29 years old. Some people, it takes longer. There's guys, well, you know, Tom's like what, 55, right? Something like that. You know, he's getting up there and, you know, he's a small business owner, made a lot of money, but he's like, dude, this is my future. He's like, my biggest thing is I realize I'm running out of time. We're us young guys, we think, oh, we have all the time in the world until you get a kid or another kid. And then all of a sudden it's like, all those days I was fucking around, if I just was reading a book or listening to an audio, or if I had a coach or I had a plan, where would I have been?
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, pretty wild. Anything else?
Nah, not that I can think of. It's just
You go. Cool. But I think we did an hour. Pretty close.
Probably.
Yeah, pretty close, man. I mean, I love doing this. I could talk all night. I love doing this stuff because it's like if one person listens to this and they get inspired and they have, you know, they get the courage to reach out, lives can change. And that's why I do this business, because like I made a post today. I made a lot of money last month and I didn't have a personal sale. Not one. I literally, I could have sat on the fucking beach if I wanted to, drinking Mai Tais and making doctor money. And you can't do that in the oil field. Even if you're a supervisor, you still got to go there. You still got to put on your thing. You still got to drive to work. You still got to be present. I work from my home. I do what I want when I want. I don't take shit from anybody. I get to pick and choose who I work with. It's a beautiful life. And if you build a team of people large enough that all have the same goals and are going in the same direction, it's just a matter of time until the compound effect works, starts kicking in. And again, what we're doing is we're just sharing a skill set with people that want to learn this skill set.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to put in the work, you'll get the rewards. And if you don't, then just, I mean, stick it out your job. It's all good. I mean, hey, man, maybe someone out there is listening is like, yo, he's like the Hawaiian Tropics fucking bikini oil rub down guy. I was like, yeah, all right, man, you got a good job. Keep a job. I get it. Right. Yeah. But for the most of us, you know, you're probably in a job that you were told to go do by your parents or by someone with influence in your life when you're in high school. Hey, man, if you get a trade, you always have work. I don't always want work, man. That's not the fucking goal. I don't want to work my whole life. Like, but that's, I remember when like my uncle Dennis, who he wasn't actually my uncle, but he was a fireman with my dad. He's like, yeah, if you go to the oil field, I remember I was like 12, way before I even thought of the oil field. But I remember him like, if you go to the oil field, you get a trade, you always have work. I remember being like, wow, always have work. What a great thing. And now I'm like, what a fucking scam. What a pyramid scheme. You tell people, oh, that's a pyramid scheme. Oh, no, bro. You're in the pyramid scheme. You've been in a job for X amount of years. You're still at the bottom. That's a scheme at the highest level. If you can't get up, everything's a pyramid. Either you own the business or you're an employee. That's it. And if you're not the owner, you're at the bottom. Sorry, you're at the bottom. And it's very hard to work your way up because someone's got to leave in order for you to get there. With what we do, you only build if you bring value. And so the reason why I have all the plaques on the wall and I can say I have this sort of stuff is because of the amount of value I give to people. And the funny thing is it's the same value over and over and over. And people are like, oh, this seems so hard. You're like, bro, you learn a basic skill set find people that want to do what we do, build a team, teach them to do the same thing. Simple. So yeah, I guess on that note, we'll take off. You have any final thoughts for anybody on the fence that's wanting to get started or reach out or get any more information or anything like that?
Well, and you kind of touched on it. It's like, and that's it. Like yes, to get into it, you're buying a product that is an epic health product that like will change, just by drinking the water will change your life. But you're not just buying the product, you're buying into the business, and then you're helping people. Like, so it's not like I just want to sell you a water machine. I want to help whoever that is got the same mindset of like, I can do better, I can have a better life. Like you said, I'm not a dumb guy. I'm smart. I don't deserve to be in this little trailer and going to this little portable in the minus 40 whatever weather. It's like, dude, I like, you know, when you got that dream when you're little, like, I gotta be something, and you're like, okay, well, but now how? It's like, this is your ticket. This is the gateway. Like,
Yeah, the fact that you can buy your way into this.
yeah, exactly. Like, that's
You
the
don't,
insane thing.
yeah, no special education. You don't need to know somebody. You don't need to go to school and get prerequisites. You can just be a regular average dude that wants more out of life. As long as you can get yourself in and get yourself an ID number, lock arms with our team. If you invest in us, we invest in you. And I guess that's a good time to top it off. So I appreciate you coming out, man. We'll definitely get this thing posted for everybody. And other than that, have yourself an awesome night.
Yeah, thanks, you too. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.